What is going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another Home Arcade podcast today. I think we have some really exciting information that we're going to be talking about. Of course, we're here live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come join the conversation. There's different ways that you can do that. You can, of course, call. We have a voicemail. You can leave a voicemail, and we'll probably maybe play it on the show. You can also email me if you have any feedback for the show, or you can follow me on Twitter. Those are the different ways that you can be a part of the show, and of course in live chat as well. Tonight we're going to be having highlights from the community, really cool things that I've seen in the community that I want to share with everybody. We have three main topics about Arcade1up related to the new cabinets that are available for this holiday season: Ridge Racer, Tron, and Killer Instinct. We also have some other speculations from the community of some cabs that would be really cool for Arcade1up to come out with. We'll highlight those in a voicemail. And some other voicemails that I think are really exciting related to, well, we'll just get into that, okay? We'll talk about that. And so the first thing I want to do today is just greet everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome to the show, and hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. And we're going to be talking about... let's take a look at this first thing that I want to, this highlights from the community. Here we go. Off to a great start. So, let's see. We're all out of messed up here. Okay. All right. So tonight we're going to be taking a look at this, this Outrun. I think this thing was, this is really cool. This is this Outrun cabinet, right? And what it is it's a partycade. So if you've ever wondered what a partycade would look like, you know, if it was an Outrun, this is what it is. And I think it actually looks pretty slick. I think it's a pretty good looking cabinet. You know, like a little partycade. The person who put together it was Tony Bishop, and I wanted to highlight this because I think it looks really cool. I don't know, the playability is very good. Like, you have this hanging on the wall or whatnot, you know, would you be able to play it? But those in the live stream, what do you guys think? Is this something that you would enjoy? Could it work? Now this one, it's got the feet on it, so you could put that on a table, but I think it would be good like hanging on a wall, you know. And it looks like your hands would kind of rest below the screen, and the shifter's right there, and then you'd put the, you know, the pedals on the ground. I think that's kind of like how it would work. So I just wanted to highlight that from the community because I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. So the other things that I want to get into is really the main topic now is the yeah, T is saying there wouldn't be much leg room on that guy. There I am again with the double. There we go. And the double. T is saying T1000, not much legroom on it, but I think it looks really cool. Like, what if Arcade1up did that? Like, so I started thinking, like, what's another cabinet that'd be really cool as a partycade? And one I never thought of was like Star Wars. Like, what if they had a partycade that had the yoke? Like, I don't know why I never thought of that before, but that could be like another way to do a partycade. And then I started thinking, what if they did they did a countercade? Star Wars countercade. Can you imagine that? Like a little version of the Star Wars, but would they have the like same size yoke? I don't know why I never thought of that before, but I think that would be kind of funny. All right, so I want to take a look at the Ridge Racer here. We're gonna take a look at that. Let's just take a second to pull that up. Okay, so the Ridge Racer cabinet, I was trying to look at all the details, and I was taking it from the lens of like, you know, is this something that I would seriously get? So Ridge Racer, it's one of those driving games that I appreciate, but it doesn't really call on me. Like, I'd play at the arcade, but it wouldn't be like, you know, like a primary game that I would seek out every single time I went to the arcade. So, you know, honestly, I don't think I'll end up buying it, but here's a list of reasons that, you know, that I kind of caught my attention. If you take a look at it, you know, it's going to come with the 5 games. And someone in the community actually said something, and I haven't verified this. Maybe you guys in the chat can tell me if this is true. But I guess it comes with 5 games. But someone was saying, was all those 5 games have like the same lap? Like, I guess implying that maybe maybe it wouldn't be very good because they're all the same game. But I don't know if that's true. But you know, let me know if that would be a reason. So it's Ridge Racer 1 and 2, Rave Racer, and then Ace Driver, and then Ace Driver Victory Lap. But there's some new things in this cabinet, and we're going to kind of go through all three of those cabinets, kind of show what they're upgrading to, these newer features, and why it would look good in your game room. So the key thing that I want to point out is we're talking about dimension. So notice it's got the 65-inch on the height. So each one of these cabs kind of have like a different height. So if you take a look at the Pac-Man that I have behind me, this right here, it's 58. I think it's 58 inches. So, but let's see if I can do this. But with this guy, it's got this little topper, and it's like a light-up marquee. So that's why it's taller. So it's kind of like the Big Blue has like this extra height because of the marquee. But that's something cool and different. This one is also Wi-Fi enabled, but just for leaderboards. But it has this feature, the rumble steering wheel. And that's something that a lot of people wished was in the Outrun. And so it looks like Arcade1up got feedback from the community. They're like, oh man, Outrun would be so good, or any type of racing cabinet from Arcade1up or any of them. If it, that's one of the cool features, you know, if it had some type of haptic feedback, or, you know, when you take the curve, it's like kind of yanking on you. But rumble steering wheel, that's a start. That's cool. So we definitely want to highlight that. And I wanted to, let's see, I can pop out this chat here. Let's see. What I'd like to do is yeah, I don't have it all set up here, so I'm just going to poll the audience with zeros, and we're going to go old school, okay? The view that I have here doesn't have the poll. But anyway, so what we're going to do, a poll in the audience, give me a 1 if you're going to end up getting the Ridge Racer. Give me a 0 if it's a hard pass. You know, so we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Then while we're waiting for that, we're going to take a look at Tron. So Tron is another cabinet. I have a video coming out later this week to kind of really just highlight and focus on Tron. And this one's interesting. Tron is actually, among the three, the one that I might get. And I'll go into detail in that other video soon. And when it comes to Ridge Racer, I'm kind of seeing a lot of zeros. Your average gamer's like, no. Don Chaffee is like, no. Travis is like, no. Edwin. Console Fanboy 0. Steve 0. This Benjamin Garage Gamer 1 is like, yeah, that one, the Ridge Racer looks good. So there's some people saying eventually they'll get it. Okay, so let's talk about Tron. So with Tron, let's go through some of the features and highlight some of those things. This one is actually taller as well. So this one's cool because if you look at it, if you look at it, this kind of looks like a standard Arcade1up. It doesn't have an extended riser, okay? Or sorry, extended marquee. So you look at it just looks like a light up marquee, just like, say, like this Pac-Man I have behind me. But it is taller, right? So again, this one's 58 inches, and then the Tron is 64. So the whole thing is taller. But it doesn't end there. It has all of these bells and whistles, let's say, that if you're going to do a Tron, it makes me think about the Dragon's Lair, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later. Like, if you're going to do it, you got to go all in. Or really close to all in. Do you know what I mean? So you can't just do a standard cookie cutter Arcade1up on these specialty cabinets. You got to have a reason to really draw us in. And this was what's interesting to me. So we have the light up front panel. It's got a light up stick, and it's got a light up marquee. So there's just all these things that light up, right? So that's going to be cool. But it also has responsive ink. Look up all inside here. Responsive ink and black light, like under the marquee. So all of this is going to glow. It's going to be nice. And so that brings me to my main point, where Tron is a sexy looking cabinet. It's going to have all of these features in it that I think are really, really nice. And I think, if I'm correct, like, is this one online, but it's just leaderboards? I think I forgot to jot that one down. And so these two cabinets that we're talking about don't have any online gameplay. It's just like a leaderboard. But again, this cabinet here, Tron, yeah, it could be really cool. So what do you guys think of Tron? Like, so I'm going to ask this question, polling, are you getting Tron? Are you, and if you ever think you would get a Tron, give me a 1. If you're like, I will never, ever give you, buy a Tron, then give me a 0. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look. I'd love to see what the audience says about that. Now, JJ, he's saying he can't wait. I think he's talking about the Tron, that he can't wait. Again, I think it looks really nice. Now, I never really got into the game Tron itself. Like, of course, the movie, the Disney movie back in the day was a great movie, and it was like kind of like a video game, and that was nice. But when I went to the arcade and I played the Tron arcade, I wasn't very good at it. And so I think when I'm not very good at a game, like I guess rage quit maybe is the right term. But look, there's other people that are chiming in. They said, that maybe they'd be interested in getting it. Let me take a look at this here. This way, we got some 1s. I think Tron, just at a glance, there's 1 eventually. T's like, yeah. 2, I think that means he's getting both. And then there's a few people that are saying 0 for the Tron. But here's the thing about also these cabinets that are really interesting, is that there's kind of a mess going on right now when it comes to these pre-orders. If you actually go to Arcade1up's website, let me take a look at it. It's Ridge Racer comes out on November 22nd for a pre-order, according to the website. And we're supposed to trust the website, right? And Tron's pre-order is earlier, or it's October 19th, right? But there's already people that are like, I've pre-ordered it, if you will. I'm calling it pre-ordered, okay? Because you're not supposed, I don't think you're supposed to be able to pre-order it yet. And then Killer Instinct, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is available November 10th, right? So I think what's happening is some of these retailers are making them available too early. And Lewis in the chat earlier had said, some of them are already sold out. And I think while that's kind of true, I think what also could be is not that they've sold out, but they pulled the listing because the pre-orders are not really supposed to be live yet. And Arcade1up has done this many times. I remember working with them and it was like, hey, this new cabinet's available. And they're like, what? Like, there's a date. There's a street date. And they announce the street date a lot of times, like in, on their social media. And then all of a sudden it shows up. Like T2, for example, has been on websites in Canada twice. It's not even officially announced at all. Like T2, we've heard through back channels that it's official. And of course we know Terminator 2 is coming because it was on Chapters Indigo and it was on Best Buy Canada, and even people pre-ordered the Best Buy Canada. But like, it's not out yet. So, what's going on, is the interesting thing. But because Arcade1up has officially put these street dates of when the pre-order will be available, I believe if you're interested in these cabs, you'll be able, if you act quickly, you'll be able to get them around those actual street dates. That's my thought. So before we go into Killer Instinct, I want to talk a little, we're going to play this voicemail that's about Tron. I think it's very, very timely. Let's check it out. It's from JJ.
Iowa, Iowa, that's where the tall corn grows. Hey, Justin, JJ down in Allen, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just wanted to chime in on the Tron cap.
Tron.
Using the Target Circle Club discounts, as well as a couple of gift cards I had. I went ahead and pre-ordered one with taxes and everything. It came to $606. Perhaps I'm just a sucker for nostalgia.
You are, but we all are.
I graduated high school in '83 and played the hell out of that cab back in the day. So just wanted to share those thoughts. I know a lot of folks feel like it is overpriced, and even at $606, what I paid, it probably is overpriced. It really should probably be around $450.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But it is what it is, and nostalgia is a powerful thing.
Yep.
Take care.
That's for sure. So thank you so much, JJ, for calling in about Tron. Absolutely agree. You know, especially, this is a cab for you, obviously. This is a game that you remember playing as a kid. And, you know, growing up, it was a part of your childhood. And it was a must-buy, you know? So if you guys, you know, you probably have that urgency, like, oh, this is a must-have, this is a must-buy. And if you're in that camp, I think it all comes down to price. Can you afford it? And if you can swing it, you can get it. I think there's a lot of people that have emailed me and asked, do you think the deals will come? I think maybe the deals will come, but I don't know how much cheaper it's going to be, you know? I think Arcade1up's new strategy, because of the price increase of what it costs to manufacture these, they are manufacturing. I think they're manufacturing less cabinets than they did in the past. And so, because John D said that on one of the shows, he was like, look, we understand that our end users are going to be a little bit more picky. That is to imply, you know, that because of the higher price, you know, you may not be able to, you know, swing it. So you're going to purchase less of the cabinets. And so they're trying to work on, you know, a higher quality parts. And I think they're kind of getting there. And, you know, it almost seems like online is the new standard. Some sort of online is the new standard. And a lot of the new cabinets are coming with this like SD card. And the SD card, I think, is to future-proof it for the ability to sell us more games. You know, I think there's a real need for that. They acknowledge that. They see that. They're probably not ready to make that available, but they want to start kind of putting those, you know, in the field. So that's what my thought about that is. And I saw a few super chats, and I'm going to get to them. I have them stored up and saved to talk about in just a little bit. So we're going to now jump into Killer Instinct. Now, the Killer Instinct is an interesting one. It's coming with, again, this is according to the website, and there's been different retailers out there that have shown different prices, right? Or I'm sorry, showed different titles that are available. And it looks as though the website has the most, they're putting it the most interesting way. Killer Instinct 1, Killer Instinct 2, Battletoads Arcade, Battletoads 8-bit, Battletoads 16-bit. Correct me in the chat if you don't think this is the actual lineup. But as of right now, I think it's if Arcade1up recognizes that a retailer has a mistake, the wrong metadata was sent to the retailer. I think and if they do it on their own website, I think they contact the company that's managing the development of their website, and they can get the copy, the marketing changed quicker, a lot quicker on their own website than reaching out to retailers who then have to forward emails to different departments to get that adjusted. So I'm going with what the website says. We're also going to talk about with Killer Instinct. Hold on a second. Let's get some music going again. A little loud there. So with the Killer Instinct, it has some new features that you can expect and enjoy compared to the other new releases that are coming out. So this one is taller, but it's not much taller, according to the website. But I have doubts. This is where, did they catch? I don't know. So check this out. Let's see if I can do this. So the Killer Instinct here, it has this particular model. It like leans back. It's got the extra piece here, right? Like we saw on the Street Fighter cabinet, right? Like the big blue. It's got like, they're trying to make it like, it's like a double riser almost, if you will. And so that brings it to 60 inches according to the website. This one doesn't have a marquee that's got an extra topper on it, so maybe that explains why the height is the way it is. But again, according to Arcade1up's website, this is what they say is in this unit. Again, so 5 games, 2 console games. Originally, they were supposed to be like Easter egg games. I think they're just going to be straight up in the menu. The question I have, I don't know if anyone's found out this answer, are all these games going to be online? Do they even wire up online gameplay for the 8-bit and the 16-bit games? That'd be kind of cool if they just everything in it's online. And when we say online, this one's not online for leaderboards. It's online for the online gameplay competition, kind of like the Big Blue. The other key thing that this has, right there, molded coin door. Now, we saw this earlier, but we're starting to see better pictures. There was this guy that was like the actor for, is actor the right word? He's the model? He's the model for the Centipede. And so the Centipede cabinet has the molded, that's like a leak. The Centipede cabinet's like a variant of the 12-in-1 or something like that. Like an Atari 12-in-1 or like the Tempest kind of thing. We'll see exactly when the details come out on that. But that one has a molded door, and it has a picture that's pretty zoomed in, and it looks really good. So if you're on the fence on the Killer Instinct, keep all these things in line. You're going to have online gameplay, which is pretty obvious. It's going to have the molded coin door. It's going to have probably those 5 games, including the Battletoads arcade, and then 2 old school games, like console games. So let's do a poll again. What do you guys say? Man, next week I'm going to have to actually integrate the poll or get the YouTube tool actually working. Because, yeah, it's, oh wait, here it is. I'm sorry. We're back. We're back with the poll. I found it. Okay. I'm going to quickly poll the audience. Killer Instinct, ask the community. There we go. We'll let that run. Everyone look inside the live chat if you're here with us live. And you should see the poll for Killer Instinct, and you know, click yes or no if Killer Instinct is for you. And so while we do that, I'm going to let that run for a little bit. We're going to talk about the next topic in here. Get things going here. So we're going to take a look at one of the voicemails that came in that I found pretty interesting. Make sure we pause the sound. We go over here, and we're going to take a look at this. Check this out.
Hey, Justin, it's Damon. I've been watching your show for maybe 2 years now. Big fan of yours, but question I got is, do you ever think they're going to bring out like a super hang-on cabinet for the Arcade1up, like a sit-up or... Just want to know what you guys think about that one, because I'm hoping they would make one of them soon. So, I guess that's my question. Take care, man, and peace.
All right, Damon, thanks so much for calling in with that question. This is what's interesting. So Damon's wondering, would Arcade1up ever come out with a hang-on? But then I was looking on Facebook, and Damon, here it is, you're talking about the hang-on right here. So we're going to take a look at this. So imagine... this was like an actual Arcade1up release. Super hang-on. They would have to do the custom, you know, basically the gears, you know, to be able to break. And so that itself is going to be some challenging stuff. Obviously, Super Hang-On, I think it has a couple different versions of it. I think they would do the stand-up just like this. I can't imagine how they're going to do some type of seat, right? But imagine this was an Arcade1up. I don't know if they could make it look like this. It's going to probably look more like an arcade, like basically a Star Wars cabinet. But I also don't know if Super Hang-On, that's the end of his pictures related to Super Hang-On. I don't really know if Super Hang-On would be the marquee title of choice. And that kind of goes into the conversation that I want to have, where it's like there's all of these cabinets that are kind of very important to you, an individual, right? But would Arcade1up actually release these cabinets that are kind of more niche? And maybe, and here I'm gonna go through why I think maybe this could be something that they do. And before we get in that, we have a couple super chats I'm gonna highlight here, and let me make sure we got the graphics on, and that's the wrong one. There we go. So, Console Fanboy, he says, the super chat, thank you so much. It's a 700 nightlight. I think he's talking about Tron. The games are so terrible. What is wrong with you people? Sorry, I'll stop. Come on. Come on, Zohar, be nicer than that. Be nicer than that. Like, everyone's got their own, you know, reason why they would want to enjoy one of these cabinets. Shame on you for being mean. All right. So Peter Griffin says, please read my comment and explain. And I think he's referring to this one. Justin, he says, Justin, you had the chance with John D live about asking questions about T2. Ralph brought it up, and then you said, let's stop talking about T2. Okay, why? It's very simple. So when we talked to John D, he was like, hey, guys, I want to do a show with you guys, right? And I was working with Michael B. And he goes, I can't talk about leaks. Like, it's off the table. Like, we can go do the show, but I'll get in trouble if I talk about anything that's unofficial. We can talk about anything that's official, but we can't talk about anything unofficial. And that was the agreement. And that's why, if you look back at that Michael B, we respected that agreement. And it was a part of bringing John D back out from the underground and kind of bring him back into the community. And we try to explain that, like, hey, this is going to be just a fun time with John, kind of like just a podcast where we're just kind of talking about whatever. And we could kind of talk a little bit about Arcade1up. Of course, we did, but we weren't able to, ask him the hard questions. And there was other content creators. They know this too. Like, oh, if I did that video, I would have asked him the hard questions, except for he wouldn't have answered them. And he would have been like, hey, why are you being disrespectful? Like, we had an agreement, and he would have, and I'm sure if he's going to be on all the other shows, there's definitely some strategies that John has mentioned that he'll start as he does his tour, as he's calling it. He'll talk about those strategies that he's trying to influence within the company, but they're not specific about like what titles are coming out in 2022 or give us details about something that we're not even actually supposed to know about because there was a leak, and that's why he keeps on kind of as a joke saying, everything, go to the website arcade1up.com or follow us on social media because that's where you're going to get your answer. I would have loved to be able to ask those questions, but again, if I would have done that or Ralph would have done that or anyone, Michael B would have done that, it would have hindered the ability for John D to go on other shows. Like, so we would have made it a bad thing, right? So we don't want John D to disappear again. Exactly, Paul. That's the thing. So we keep it civil. Lewis is reminding people. So, and that was our kind of campaign, was to free John. And that was a way we figured out a way to do it. And of course, if John is getting a built up good relationship with the community again, maybe that will lead to other great events that Arcade1up will want to be a part of, So at that time, since he hadn't done any content with anybody in 3 or 4 months, this was a great way to kind of like, bring him back to the community. And I'm sorry we weren't able to make the show that you wanted. We knew the show that you wanted. We wanted to give you guys the show that you wanted working with Michael B. But we're all like, this is the show we have to do. And so I hope you guys understand that and you appreciate where we're coming from. So I appreciate the chat, guys. We're going to go on to this next voicemail. Let me make sure. Yeah. So this one, I think is pretty interesting. Let me turn this off. And we're going to talk about this. I'd love to hear. Oh, hold on a second. Actually, we got to go. I think enough time has gone by for the poll. So the poll results for Killer Instinct, this is really interesting. It's 50% want Killer Instinct and 50% don't. Is that the results I'm seeing? I don't know. This is the first time I've seen use this tool baked in with YouTube, but the poll's 50-50, 70 votes. That's really interesting that it turned out that way. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at this voicemail. I think you'll really enjoy it. Check it out.
Hey, Justin. Jeff Dickinson here, a.k.a. The Collector Zone.
The Collector Zone!
Really digging the new format. My question to you here is, it's kind of like a little debate sometimes with my friends.
Yep.
But it's about the old school 70s Simon game.
Yep.
Remember Ralph Baer, who invented it? To me, he's like the godfather of video games. And a lot of my friends don't consider this an actual video game, but in my mind, it is. Can you help settle that debate? Digging the show, been a lifetime listener and cool friend of yours. Looking forward to hearing your feedback. Layers, man.
So first of all, Jeff, thank you so much for participating in the voicemail. Really appreciate it. We've been following each other for a while, and I wanted to highlight this. I'm going to try to make this fun for the audience as well. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a look right here at a Simon commercial from 1992.
What does it feel like to play Simon? You gotta look.
So you guys remember this game, Simon, right? Want to make it very clear.
Remember, you gotta react.
You gotta react.
Repeat the sounds and colors. Think fast. What does it feel like to play Simon?
Intense.
Simon from Milton Bradley, the challenge intensified to the max.
All right, so the question is, Simon a video game? You know, maybe this has been a question. I put the poll in the chat. Maybe this has been a question for years. It feels like a question that I've never heard of, but a question that has been debated for years. I don't know. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are, both in the live chat, if you can make a comment with Simon in it, or just, is Simon a video game, yes or no? I have my idea in my head, and I will describe it, but I will also reveal what the live chat is saying about this one. Now, previously, we had some discussions. We'll jump into that. Let's see if we can. There we go. Michael B, the Game Genie, says price increase. Yeah, I think he's talking about Killer Instinct. But $3.99. If the Killer Instinct was $3.99, that would bring it. That would bring it to 100% votes. That's pretty interesting. So according to the poll's still coming in. Keep it coming, guys. Everyone, look inside your live stream. You should see the poll. Wow, this Oktoberfest. It's pretty good. You can kind of, tell how good it is, right? So, Don is saying, I like Simon, but it's not a video game. My daughter plays Bop It. Bop It's fun. Bop It. Pop It. We have like 2 or 3 versions of that game. I think we have like a Mandalorian. It actually has like the Din Djarin voice. So he's like, Pop It. It's pretty good. So Tony C says electronic board game, not a video game. Perhaps related. Papa Brad Gaming, thank you for being a member. It's cheaper. What do you say? It's cheaper than a Tron. Maybe he's referring to something else. So we're going to end the poll here. Let's see where we end up. And the poll was 71% say no, it's not a video game. Here's the interesting thing. I think that it is not a video game because for it to be a video game, it has to have video, right? It just has lights, right? Like, what are you going to say? Like, well, those lights are like a pixel and it's illuminating one at a time in an order and you have to press it back. But it's not. I'm sorry, but it's not a video game. It's just not. So now, because for the sake of time that we're doing okay on time, let me double check we're doing okay on time. I will go ahead and play a few more. Yeah, this is the same as before last week, where we're 34 minutes into the stream, and I was able to get us here on time. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this voicemail. I had something in my head, and I was like, okay, if certain events take place, I will go ahead and play the voicemail because I know this person will be really, really happy if I play the voicemail, and it kind of gets into a topic that I think will be worth it, okay? You guys ready for this? Here's the voicemail.
Christopher Walken here. I have to tell you, this guy is going crazy trying to beat Metroid Dread. It's a hot game. Let me put him on the phone. He's gone mad. Here you go. I'll get you next time.
Oh, man.
You see what I'm saying? He's making no sense. Please, if you can help him beat the game, he's gone mad. Bye.
All right, that of course is Zohar, and thank you, Arcade Dave, for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. But we're going to talk about the topic that clearly Zohar brought up. Now, I've been trying really hard recently, ignoring two things, and that is the reviews for the OLED Nintendo Switch, right? Okay. Well, heck, let's do it again. Let's do another poll. I would love to hear from you. The OLED Nintendo Switch. Okay, so I'm going to just type in OLED Nintendo Switch. Now, let me tell you real quick what this poll means. I'm asking the community, OLED Switch. It's not whether you would get one. It's not whether you ordered one. It's the reviews. If you've watched reviews, yes, if they were highly positive, and no is like basically I've heard negative reviews. And this is the problem. I'm going to give it a little bit. Go ahead and answer. Go into the chat and then answer what you guys think about the OLED Switch. Then we're going to talk about Metroid Dread in a moment. So here's the problem that I have. I'm in this freeze right now of any expenses, okay? And basically I have a house on the market and it hasn't sold yet, and it's looking good though. It's looking good. We got a couple people that seem really interested, and hopefully we'll get an offer soon, and we'll start the closing process. It'll be great. And then the spending freeze will be over. And then I could even consider something like an OLED Switch, or consider Metroid Dread. Like Metroid Dread I was thinking about getting, but I was just like, no, I just kind of don't want to spend any money. And then consider Tron. I have a video on that. We're going to talk about that later, about my thoughts on Tron. So look forward to that in the video that comes out later this week. But here's the thing. I don't know. I'm gonna end the poll here. Let's see where it's at. So the poll, it was really interesting. What I've seen is nothing but fantastic reviews on. It said 63 people negative. I think maybe, yeah, 37 or yes. I think maybe the people that voted were voting whether they wanted it or not. Whether they wanted the OLED Switch, even though I was like very clear, you know. I don't know. Maybe they watched some negative reviews. What I've seen is it's fantastic. Like, it's brilliant. It's doesn't have the bezel, you know. It has all these features. There's speculations, which I don't really believe in. There's these speculations that it's future-proof for 4K. The dock has like a chip in it that's 4K, but yeah, I don't know about that. Like, a lot of times when you go to chip manufacturers these days, like, everything's 4K. Like, every chip that processes video is like 4K these days. And a lot of devices don't use, like, if it's an HD or 1080 device, it may use like a 4K upscaler, but never leverage that feature. It's just because they mass produce that chip. And it's one of those things where even if there's a chip that has lower specs, they may not be like a chip out there. So anyway, I don't really know, but like the dock is supposed to have like 4K capabilities. So like, aha, they probably were gonna make a 4K Switch, and then they decided to do this OLED. And I'm like, I don't know about that, but whatever. For me, I was like, I can't buy it for many reasons. I can't get the OLED Switch. I have way too many Switches as it is. Me personally, I have the Lite because other people, friends, convinced me you got to get the Lite. So I got the Lite, but I already had the launch model. And then the other problem is I have a wife and a daughter, and they got into Animal Crossing. So there's this demand that they get their own personal Switch. Basically, my wife has her own Switch. It's like it's a Gen 2 standard Switch. Basically, it just plays Animal Crossing. Like, it's an Animal Crossing thing. And so over the years, I've kind of picked up that. And so for me, if I was to get the OLED, that means I'm going to have to admit that I need it because I play a lot of handheld, and I do, but that's on the Lite. And then I don't know. I'd have to sell the other two to get the OLED. So, and then I went on to eBay and I was like, or Facebook Market, are the original Switch, they're going for $50 less than retail. For a long time, those Switches, I would see that there was a time in the beginning of 2020, right? There was a big global event that took place early 2020, and that caused Nintendo Switches to be rare. And on eBay, you couldn't find them on Target or Walmart. They were not available. And on places like eBay or Facebook Market, the Nintendo Switch was selling for $350 or $400 above. You know, we're talking about it's a $299 product. But now that I think supply is stabilized for Nintendo Switch, and there's this OLED version, like tons of people are doing the same thing where they are selling off their old versions. They're buying the OLED and they're selling it off. So it's like a saturated market. So they're going for like $250, and then like the yeah, we don't talk about 2020. That's right. Let's pretend like it never happened. And then like the light is $150. So here's some good news. If you never got into the Switch, now's a good time to buy the last year's model, because you can get them for $50 off. And sometimes they come with a game. Like, go look in Facebook Market or eBay. Like, maybe you can get a pretty good deal. And so, yeah. Anyway, so that's that. The second thing is, I'm just pull crazy today. Metroid Dread. I've heard a few things. I watched, what do you guys think? Yes or no on Metroid Dread? So my buddy, Bob from Retro RGB, he did a Twitch live stream on Friday, which is cool. The team that I'm on is adapted No Meeting Fridays, and that allowed me to like code and do a whole bunch of work and then kind of have something like on my other monitor kind of in the background. And so I was watching him play Metroid Dread, and it was really cool. He was playing it. It looks so good. In his setup, he's got, because he moved to a new house. He used to live in Manhattan, didn't have a lot of room. Now he's got a house. Pretty exciting things going on in his life right now. And he's got a projector, okay? So he was actually live streaming on Twitch the results of his projector. Like, he's in the room, and he's got a camera. And I was like, man, I thought he was just capturing it with an Elgato or whatever his really fancy video card captures that he uses for, like, great RGB or whatever. It was a projector. Anyway, he was having fun. It was really, really cool, because there's like two people in the community that I know. Renee, his buddy, who's basically, he's a huge Metroid fan. He got one. I follow him on Twitter. And then Retro RGB Bob also started playing Metroid Dread, and he's a huge Metroid fan. I mean, been following him for years, buddy with him for years, and his like favorite system is Super Nintendo, and his favorite game is like Metroid. So I really wanted to know if Metroid Dread was any good. And there was this part where he was like, oh, there's this game mechanic, this fire that's going to make it complicated. But overall, I think he really liked it. I'll have to check with him if he really, really likes it, because he'd just been playing it for like an hour when I was watching him. But then I hear Zohar. We're going all the way back to Zohar's Christopher Walken voicemail about Metroid Dread. I guess he's getting stuck at some boss, which is actually making me go like, wait a second, he's getting stuck at, I don't want to play a game where I'm going to get stuck at a boss. And then someone else tweeted, I think it's the same boss. He was like, yeah, this is like an impossible guy to beat. I don't know. And if you guys in the chat, what do you guys think of this Metroid Dread? Like, the poll, let's see, we got 61% are saying no. There's like an over 50%. It's the 61% are like, I think we're saying no, they won't get it, or no, it's bad. You know, here's console fanboy, aka Zohar, saying that it's too hard, dude. See, this is Super Nintendo is still the greatest console they ever did. So this is the thing. Like, maybe for me, because I'm in that spending freeze, maybe I skip on Metroid Dread for a while and actually start playing the original again. The original Metroid for Nintendo, loved that game. Haven't beat it as an adult. I beat it as a kid. And then Metroid, the Super Nintendo Metroid, I beat that as a kid. Dude, I love that game so much that when I beat it, I took a VCR and my Super Nintendo, I plugged in the Super Nintendo, and I had S-Video input on my Super Nintendo, and I don't know how, but I have, and I think I still have the wire, an S-Video Super Nintendo cable, plugged it in, recorded this pretty high-quality VHS. You know, we're talking this is like whatever, when it came out, so 96, 97, something like that. And I played Billy Joel music, The Pressure, you know, dun 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 dun, Pressure, dun dun. I played that music over me beating the Metroid game, and then showed it to all my friends when they came over. They're like, "Hey, check it out! I beat Metroid," and I'm like, I put music to it. It's like so cool. I don't know. I was a nerd back in the day. But anyway, I haven't returned to Metroid again as an adult. And so it's got me wondering, like, I don't know, I think I should. And then I missed out on all the other Metroids that came out afterwards. And I think there's one for like Game Boy Advance or something. It's supposed to be really good, as it says it's supposed to be more true to the original. but then some of the other modern, more like console generations of Metroid are like not good. You know, they're like they changed up the whole game and people don't like it. Like loyal ones for Metroid don't like it. But then Metroid Dread is supposed to be like more original to the, you know, to the original. What am I trying to say? It's supposed to be better, right? So I don't know. I'll probably get it eventually, but I have a hard time playing these. Was it Game Boy Color? I have a hard time like buying these new versions of a game when I haven't even revisited the old version of the game that I love so much. And these modern games, like although it looks really, really cool, the nostalgia, like the voicemail from JJ earlier about how Tron, how nostalgia is so powerful. It is so true. And these newer games, can they give you that nostalgia feeling? It's a brand new game, and it's kind of like, hey, it's I don't know. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't like the movies that they're bringing back, right? A lot of people really dislike, you know, the remakes of movies. And is Metroid like just kind of a remake of something that we loved back in the past? And I really got to fix this why it's stretching out to the end of the screen. But Arcade Dave says, love Metroid Dread, but I'm wanting the Switch OLED. I see others playing it. FOMO. Yeah, I made this tweet and it was kind of like, so I have FOMO for the OLED Switch. I have FOMO for Metroid Dread, and I have FOMO for playing Metroid Dread on an OLED Switch. And the whole thing is just pretty tough. And so the Collector Zone, he says, I wonder how many people buy a Switch just to sign up to play old school Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 games off their service. It's crazy. I'm kind of there because I have the Switch. And I'll be honest, what I'm trying to say is I'll be very forthcoming with and not hold back on the type of games that I play on the Switch. So when I first got the Switch, I thought it was for me. And then my daughter totally took over the Switch. Absolutely loved every game on the Switch, everything that we bought. We bought her Breath of the Wild. She loves Breath of the Wild. And then we bought, Switch Online came out. I played that on occasion. She plays it on occasion. She loves the Zelda games, right? So she'll go back and play all those Zelda games. So she's super excited about the Nintendo 64 because it has Majora's Mask on it. And I've been promising her Majora's Mask through a Nintendo 64 with an HDMI mod that she could play through an Ultra 64 EverDrive that I have because that game's really expensive and hard to find, at least last time I was looking at it. But now she can just play it on her Switch because that never happened because Dad didn't come through. But now, Nintendo 64, Majora's Mask is coming to the Switch Online. Okay? Then she loves, of course, Animal Crossing. When she got into Animal Crossing, it was like, I think that Switch became hers and I had to get another one. One for me. And then I was playing Mega Man. The Mega Man 11, I think that came out. Beat that game. Loved it. That one felt like it wasn't a remake, like we're talking about the movies. Didn't feel like a remake. It just felt like a Mega Man game, you know? Like from the Super Nintendo. The graphics were just, it was still 2D. But I don't know. This is the thing with retro gaming. Nintendo definitely knows how to hook us, right? And I even think they knew, to be fair, those people out there that think Nintendo was going to come out with a 4K Switch, even if that was true, Nintendo was smart enough to go, we don't need to come out with a 4K Switch yet. We can do an OLED version of the Switch, which basically has exactly the same output if you're playing it on a TV. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're playing an OLED on a Switch on a TV, you're not going to tell the difference. I mean, I have an OLED TV, so I can already play OLED Switch on my OLED TV. And by the way, OLED, I mean, I have an Apple TV plugged in with Dolby Vision with billions of colors instead of millions. Makes a huge difference. Disney Plus has so many content. Hulu, I think Hulu has the Dolby Vision stuff as well. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but you watch that and it's amazing. You know, it's like there's just more levels of contrast. This 10-bit, you know, what is it? So there's basically HDR. There's HDR 10-bit. And so instead of 8 bits of color information, there's 10 bits of color information. And then Dolby comes in and says, oh, you're gonna have to pay us a license, and we can make it even more magical. And then Dolby Vision has all this extra metadata. It can do color contrast and all that inside the signal, and then you have that on like an OLED TV that can support all those levels. Just mind-blowing, looks beautiful. Plug an Xbox into that, you get the TV with the 120 refresh rate. It looks so good. And nearly every day I get to watch my daughter play Sims 4 in immaculate OLED 120 hertz. I should take it over, right? And play some different games with her. Something that can really take advantage of the quality. Anyway, so Michael B says, I have NES and Super NES controllers coming on my Switch next week, and you best believe I'll be getting the Nintendo 64 and Genesis controllers as soon as they come out. I think that's pretty cool. I bought like the Super Nintendo controller. I think I'm going to use the Super Nintendo controller as far as I can. We'll see. We'll see if, and my daughter and I talked about it, if we can play Majora's Mask on the Wii controller, we're good. But if you absolutely need the Nintendo 64 for the analog controls, like if they just don't work with the Switch controls, then I guess we'll have to get it. That'll be interesting. So thank you so much for the $5 super chat from Ben Toll. He says, will the Switch be obsolete when the Steam Deck comes out? That's interesting. I don't know about obsolete. Like, here's the thing the Steam Deck will never have. The Steam Deck will never have Nintendo first-party titles. It won't. So I think the reason to get a Switch is for the Nintendo first-party titles. And then the Switch Online service, which allows you to play the NES, Super Nintendo. It's a great emulator. It's probably one of the best software emulators out there for Nintendo. Super Nintendo is the native one that's on the Switch. There's all these videos out there. My Life in Gaming had a great video that's like, you go back into the past of all the emulators that Nintendo themselves has created. The Switch version is the enhancement of the older versions, and it's great quality. And so yeah, I think there's going to be people that want to play modern games that are not Nintendo Switch. Absolutely, the Steam Deck is going to like just change the game. I think it's going to do a lot of amazing things. But yeah, see, the OLED Switch still only outputs 720p in handheld mode. So I guess the colors are really good, and they can really target the blacks on that OLED, and it looks brilliant, and the whites look white, and the black looks black, and all the array of colors, but it's only 700 or 720p. It's got limited lines of resolutions on a 7-inch screen. Is that right? 7-inch screen? Do majority of people have a 4K or better TV yet? I think the adoption for 4K is way faster than the adoption for HD. That's my understanding. Streaming services like Disney Plus has all of their movies in 4K. You know, all of their Marvel movies, their Star Wars, everything that they're creating, like Mandalorian and all of that stuff is in 4K. And if you have the right set-top box or the right hardware, you're going to get up to the Dolby Vision, right? Netflix is very similar. They have a lot of their content is in 4K as well. Of course, Netflix, I think they still have a tier. Like I can't remember if Netflix did that where they have like 3 tiers. Disney Plus is like their whatever $7.99 tier. If there's no multiple tiers, like there's just one price, right? One price, and you're going to get all of their. If the content was filmed in that higher quality or is available in that higher quality, you're going to get it, right? Things like Simpsons, the older Simpsons, of course, a 4:3 aspect ratio, but they offer 2 formats. You can kind of stretch it or not stretch it, which I love. It's a really cool feature. There's some people that really don't like when things are stretched, and they really wanted Simpsons to not have a stretched version, and then they were really happy when that feature came out, and it was really, really cool. So I don't know about television adoption. I wish I knew the answer to that. I think it's high. And Console Fanboy with, see, Nintendo is just better than PC. That's his opinion. So Jason says, man, why do I got that runoff? It's really annoying me. Oh, I know why. I know why. I adjusted it so that, I adjusted it so it'd have some padding is what I did. The positioning of it is, there we go. See, I added this little thing and now it's really there we go. How about that? Is that a little better? Now we can get the whole message. Okay. Using an even newer tool than last week. Trying out a beta version of software from this really awesome guy. So anyway, he says $50 for a Nintendo 64 controller seems a bit high, not by much, but just enough. It's a good point. It's a very good point. And that's what's holding me back from buying the Nintendo Switch N64 controller when it becomes available this month, I believe. October, I don't even think we know about what the price is going to be. You know, what the price is going to be for the new family, whatever, the Nintendo Switch Online that adds the Nintendo 64 and the Sega games. I don't think even we know what the price is going to be. Let's change the subject real quick from Papa John. That's his name, Papa John. From now on, it's Papa John Gaming. Thank you so much for being a member, Papa John Gaming. He says Tron would be a buy for $450. For sure, I think a lot of people are having trouble with these prices going up. And I failed to mention that. I wanted to talk about, so let's dial back and talk about Arcade1up again. That was a fun little Nintendo Switch conversation. But let's talk about Arcade1up. We talked about it a little bit before, but we're going to expand on this topic a little bit for the we got about 4 minutes left in the show and we can talk about this. I think this will be interesting. Check this out. So with the prices going up with Arcade1up, you know, we're seeing prices of $700-800. It looks like they're probably going to produce less of them because they know that the prices are a little high for people. They'll have to be a little bit picky. You can't just buy 3 or 4, you know, every year now because the prices are up. Plus, they know that their customer base already has tons of cabinets, right? So we're kind of like, are we selling some of the cabinets so we can get another one? I know I'm in that situation where when I go ahead and order the Street Fighter Big Blue, I'm going to get rid of the Gen 1 Street Fighter. Maybe Final Fight. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, will the prices ever come down? Maybe. That's if they can... If they're probably... I don't know. So the how much it cost for the Arcade1up to make is a very interesting subject, and I don't want to pretend like I know about how all that works. But the price is high. You're going to sell fewer, right? But this is what the alternative is. This will probably allow them to make more niche cabinets, okay? So there was, let's see if I have it. There was another voicemail in here that I thought was really good. Let's see, I have it in my bookmarks. Oh, man. I feel really bad. Where is it? So, yes, here it is. I'm going to play the voicemail. I found it. Check it out.
Hey, Justin, this is Andrew from Ohio. Hey, I was calling, first-time caller, long-time watcher with my friend Sean. The question I have tonight for the group and for you is, would they hold off on Dragon's Lair Space Ace and Ridge Racer till the CES to show those cabinets off and release? Because there's so many cabinets for, HSN and like different places they're going to show this Christmas. Right. I just want to get your feedback on it. I love the show, and you're doing a great job. We appreciate it, the information that you guys give us all the time. Right. In the thing. You have a great day, Justin.
So really appreciate it, Andrew from Ohio. So we're going to take a look at this. What he's talking about. Check this out. We have Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. These cabinets have not yet been released. We got all these new cabinets coming out. But what about Dragon's Lair? What about Space Ace? Now, these cabinets were always said to be a direct-to-consumer. And what that means is they don't think they could go to the Targets or the Walmarts and actually get them to buy them. What I understand that means is that they're not going to get a purchase order that's hundreds of thousands of dollars to help them cover the cost of the manufacturing. Or even if they they pay the price of the manufacturing. They basically got a guaranteed purchase order from one of those, retailers that's going to pay for, the shipping, or I'm sorry, like the manufacturing very quickly. If they do it direct to consumer, it's all out of their own pocket. It's all out of the money that came from their investors. And it's all based on however many they think they could sell. And they've said before, and this was before the price increase, they needed to sell about 3,000 of any cabinet to make it worth it. And some of these niche cabinets are right in that area where they're expensive to make, and they're not going to get a purchase order from a retailer. So they're putting it out there, and hopefully they can make it and try to cut even, break even, or even make a profit. So where is Dragon's Lair? And here's my thought. Here's my thought where I think Dragon's Lair is. I think the marketing of Dragon's Lair was, the idea of doing Dragon's Lair was kind of before 2020, right? The global events that took place in 2020. Their idea and plan to do that was kind of hit by that. Also, there's a second thing that it was hit by it. Remember, there was going to be a Netflix movie with Dragon's Lair. Don Bluth has been working on this idea for a movie for a while. Evidently, Netflix bought the idea, and they were going to have, you guys know in the chat, the guy that's in Free Guy. You got to watch the movie Free Guy. It's really, really good. What's the guy's name? Whatever. He's supposed to be the Dragon's Lair dude, right? Where's that movie? It was supposed to come out June 2021. I haven't seen any articles. Ryan Reynolds, there you go. I haven't seen any updates for the movie. Now, Arcade1up likes to market things near other things. So if the whole Dragon's Lair becomes kind of a viral topic because Ryan Reynolds is in this Netflix special of this Dragon's Lair's movie, they could release those cabinets at that same time and kind of ride that wave and maybe make some money and sell some of those cabinets. But that movie's not coming out. Arcade1up has an NDA with Don Bluth. Don Bluth is involved in the Netflix thing. So there's probably discussions. They know what's going on with that movie. And in fact, if that movie does all of a sudden pop up, it's a good chance that all of a sudden we'll see, boom, Dragon's Lair is available. Like they've been holding back for that. There's a third thing. The third thing is that the community was like, hey, the whole cell phone thing going on, this cell phone thing in that's supposed to be a cell phone for that second screen. They're like, no, we don't like that. So are they going to release that version? And that was before the price increase, right? So now how much would it cost to do a second screen? Sounds like the second screen price would be even more. So and can they get retailers to buy it? I don't know. So I think the whole thing is on hold. And then I think they didn't take it down off the website because people would flip out and be like, what? You took it off the website. What happened? And that's my thought. It was just pure speculation, but here we are. We're in the holiday season, and there's all of these new Arcade1up cabinets coming out at retailers, and there's no word on Dragon's Lair. I think if you want it, it's going to be a little while. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me live. Now, I do have something special afterwards. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this new thing. Hopefully, you guys will hang out with me. You know how I do these live streams where I play music? I'm doing one right after this show. And if you stick around, it should take you straight to it. I'm going to do one song. It's my favorite song. And then we'll end the night. That'll be it. And if you're here watching on the replay, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That's freaking awesome. Check your subscription. Check your like status. It would be awesome if the like status was thumbs up and your subscription was valid. Double check you're still subscribed and ring that bell, right? Or follow me on all the social networks or stuff so you get notified when I go live. So I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys. If you're going to stick around, we'll see you guys in a bit. And yeah, have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, guys.